Well, good afternoon, White County. Hope everyone is doing well. I know it's a challenging time for our community. Many of you are still without power. Many of you have been restored, and we're just sitting back and waiting to see what is coming next. We are in that phase of recovery that takes the longest. Emergency response is one segment. Recovery from a disaster is next and usually takes the longest. Overall, it could have been a lot worse. I know some of you are thinking, how can it be worse? I'm cold, I'm out of power, I can't leave my home. But we were spared some significant icing due to some weather conditions that changed throughout the night. And I know Don has already shared that information with you before now. I'm going to give you some operational things. Our county road crews, supported by National Guard, Georgia Forestry Commission, and Georgia Department of Natural Resources, has chainsaw strike teams that are cutting paths through the roadways, the county roadways that are blocked by trees. Some of those have been also done by our local sheriff's office and that great team of deputies and the sheriff who's been out there working today, opening roads as well. Those that have power lines in them are still closed because we cannot cut those up and move those because we don't know whether or not the power is off or on those particular lines, and it's too dangerous for our crews to move those out of the way. As soon as we get confirmation that the power is off on those county roads will be cleared as well. There are some city streets, especially in the city of Cleveland, that we have identified that are still closed by power lines. Again, the same situation. We're waiting on the power company to restore, get those out of the way, make sure they're dead so we can open those up. We have transitioned our shelter at the Yona Preserve Recreation Center to a Red Cross shelter. It is now being operated by the American Red Cross instead of our own county staff, who have worked very hard over the last few days opening it, receiving people, and managing. We thank them for their service. To our first responders in the field, our sheriff's office, police officers, EMS, fire, they responded to calls in some most treacherous conditions to save lives. And many of them put their lives in jeopardy doing so. Luckily, we have not had anyone injured, and that is a blessing. We thank you, White County, for listening to our preparedness messages and staying strong. Also, our 911 dispatchers and EOC staff have worked hard. We were finally able today to start transitioning into normal, regular schedule, sending some folks home that's been here for 3 days to get some rest, much needed rest and sleep, and transitioning back to a normal operating schedule in the 911. There's still a long way to go. Please do not call 911 to ask when your power will be on. We don't know. We don't have any magic way of telling when your power will be turned back on. We don't have any magic numbers to call the power company to encourage. That's just not available. That's just not something we do. If you've reported your power outage, I know that they're working diligently to get you and your neighborhood back home. If you need shelter or have an emergency, we will be there to help. For emergencies, you can dial 911. If you need shelter, you can go to the Yona Preserve Recreation Center. No registration is required. No ID is required. The Red Cross is there operating the shelter and will take care of you. If you need other assistance, you can dial our emergency operations number, and our 911 center will be answering those tonight. Please keep that to a minimum because they do handling emergencies. You can leave a voicemail and they will return the call as soon as they can. Patience, we're still here with you. We're going to be here with you throughout the duration of this event. One last thing, one question was posed, when will my road be open? As soon as we can get to it. The city utility departments in Cleveland and Helen have worked hard to open those roads that they can. Georgia DOT is working on state routes. And again, our public works and these chainsaw strike teams are working diligently to get those open. It will be a long cleanup for our roadsides, so please be careful as you traverse those because there are trees and debris on the sides of the right of way. Please be very careful as you pass those. If you see people working out in the road, use caution, keep them safe. We thank you so much, White County. I'm going to turn it over to Don for the latest weather updates, and we will talk to you again later. Thank you. Don?
Thank you, Director Murphy. It has been a beautiful day weather-wise across White County in northeast Georgia. I know it's cold out there, but at least we've got the sunshine, and that has helped us tremendously in that radiational heating, has allowed some of the ice load to leave the trees. And in some areas, it is still pretty thick out there, and we were awfully concerned about the gusty winds that we have received today across White County. But thankfully, that 15, 20, 25 mile per hour gust hasn't happened very often. And we're not looking at that from a sustained standpoint, which if we had sustained 20 mile per hour winds, I think we would have a much bigger problem on our hands. There are a lot of leaners out there across the roadway. Those are trees that are still covered in ice. They are poised to fall, and all it's going to take is a gust of wind, and they're going to come down. So we will still deal with that, certainly through tonight and probably for the next couple of days. So if you travel on roads and you see those leaners, be very careful and just understand that they could come down at any moment. So we are going into probably some of the coldest air we have seen maybe in the last 2 years across White County. We are under a cold weather advisory for this evening, primarily for wind chill factors of 5 below to 5 above. Now, that's not the actual air temperature, but that's what it's going to feel like out there. When we receive those 20 mile per hour wind gusts, it's going to feel like it's 5 degrees below zero. And then when we go back to no wind, we'll feel like we're about 5 degrees above zero. That wind chill advisory is going to be in effect from 8 o'clock tonight through 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. So our actual low temperature for tonight, how about 11 degrees for our overnight low? That is way below a hard freeze. So you got to leave that pipe just barely dripping. You got to make sure that your pets are taken care of. They can't stand it outside in that kind of cold temperature. And then check on your neighbor as well. Very, very cold, frigid night tonight across White County. We know that a lot of you are still without power, and there will be a lot of you that will have to endure this tonight without power. If you do not have a good source of safe heat, you are encouraged to go to the rec center and shelter there tonight, at least through this cold weather. Again, as the director said, the American Red Cross has now, we've transitioned to an American Red Cross shelter. They will take care of your needs. If you do not have adequate heat, it is very important that you seek a place to be warm tonight, and that very well could be the American Red Cross shelter at the new rec center out there off of Asbestos Road. So for tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to make it to 40 degrees in the afternoon. That sounds fantastic. It is fantastic. It takes a long time to get ice off of trees and power lines, and 3 or 4 hours at 40 degrees will certainly help with that radiational heating from the sun, but it's probably not going to wipe out all the ice tomorrow as well. And then we head for a low of 21 on Tuesday night. As a matter of fact, we make it into the low 20s every single night this week. So it's going to take a while to get all this ice off of the trees. We're not worried about ice on roadways, though there could be a few patches of black ice out there tomorrow morning if there's any residual moisture out there running across the road. So be very mindful of that as you travel early tomorrow morning. And then I think if I've been asked once, I've been asked about 1,000 times today, what about the next big snowstorm this weekend? Isn't it supposed to snow in White County this weekend? The official forecast from the National Weather Service right now is calling for snow. It's calling for a very slight chance of snow, probably flurries on Friday night here in White County. Don't look for that to be a big deal. And that is also a blessing. Be warm, be safe, take advantage of that shelter if you don't have adequate heat tonight. And may God bless you all. Thank you for listening to our request and staying off the roadways. And I do see some light at the end of the tunnel with this disaster. We'll try to update you again tomorrow right here on White County Public Safety.